Got off the train here in Reno, and now I'm going to be heading out for a bike tour, bike packing tour. So we're going to go off-road, and the route that I'll be doing is I'll be doing part of the Tahoe Twirl route, and then mixing into that the Pony Express route back down to the Central Valley. Finally, we're on the road after a couple supply stops. Also had to adjust my brakes because I put new pads in last night and didn't compress the pads in far enough, so they were rubbing. So got that sorted out, and now we're on our way. Finally making our way out of this sprawl. Still a few houses left to pass, and I will be on dirt here, it looks like, real soon. But anyway, you might be wondering why I'm riding this bike on this trip, and I'm hoping to get to that at some point here in the video. But right now I'm just trying to get up here as far as I can out of all these neighborhoods into the national forest as quickly as possible. All right, well, we're still rolling. I was gonna stop. I was looking for a place to camp, but it seems like it's still quite a ways up here. So I'm just gonna keep following this trail. Wow, just dropped the bike and GoPro. Good morning, welcome to day 2. I found a little spot here to sleep last night at this park. I'm riding this old hardtail mountain bike on this trip because I've never done a bikepacking trip on an actual hardtail mountain bike before. I've ridden a lot of my drop bar rigid bikes out here, but I've never done a proper bikepacking trip with bags loaded up on a hardtail. So that's what this trip is. This is basically a shakedown ride. But the route is, I'm starting in Reno and I'm taking the Tahoe Twirl, which is a bikepacking route out of Reno. It's a 200-mile loop. It's about 20,000 feet of climbing. But instead of taking the loop all the way back to Reno, I'm gonna jump on another trail called the Pony Express Trail, and I'm going to take that up over the pass from the south end of this bikepacking route. I'm going to take that trail all the way over to Sacramento. I've never ridden that section before, so it'll be new terrain for me, but I'm going to be doing it on this old school hardtail mountain bike over here. So that's the plan for this trip, and so it's just going to be a quick one. I stayed here last night at this little park right here. No one was around. I got in a little bit late, so decided I was just gonna throw the sleeping bag down on the ground here and get a couple hours of sleep. since yesterday evening, we've ridden up from that valley out there up to this ski resort we're at. And see the ski lift right up there. Saw my first mountain biker. First mountain biker passed me this morning. And the trail's now starting to be more rideable. The first climb out of Reno was very loose, very rocky. It was very loose rocks, but large size rocks. So I definitely had to hike quite a bit through there. So it was slow going. But today, this is really smooth, kind of sandy stuff. It's rideable. Okay, we made it to the Flume Trail. That was a nice descent, coming off the top up there of Mount Rose. And yeah, back to familiar trails. This trail is very, very nice. Very smooth and rideable. Last time we stopped here, we'd go 5 feet, stop, film, go 5 feet, stop and film. I mean, it was just so scenic. This time I'm just gonna ride it, not gonna spend too much time stopping. Maybe I'll get a couple clips, but we'll see. And there she is, Lake Tahoe. What a beautiful sight it is from up here. Starting to get some fall colors too. really windy today. This is where we, Miss Coles and I sat and had lunch last time. Way too windy. Wow. The water over there is just getting blown. Crazy. Alright, so we hit a bit of a snag here. I broke my rear rack. The rack itself didn't break, but the P-clamps that I use down here at the bottom, this bike doesn't have braze-ons for a rack, so I just use P-clamps here. I don't know if you can see this, but I used a P-clamp and just with a rubber grommet locked it on to the seat stay, and with all this bouncing around out here, it finally broke. So temporarily fixed it with a small valet strap. So I've got it held in. It's okay. The little bag I have on the top of the rack back there is on big bumps. It will rub on the rear tire. So once I get off this trail out here, I think I might drop down to, I can drop down to South Lake Tahoe and go to the hardware store and see if I can find some P-clamps and fix this rack. I'm actually pretty close to the road that gets out there. So yeah, that might be the plan now. Might be to abort the rim trail for now and go to the hardware store. Alright, don't know what to do. It's super windy out here, so hopefully my microphone's picking this up. But yeah, so I'm really close to the Heavenly Resort over there. It's just across the canyon. It's like literally right through there. Just cross the highway and go up, and there's the resort right up there, and there's a store. And then right down here we have South Lake Tahoe. Right now it's 4:14. So I'm tempted to, we've dropped so low here already. I'm tempted to ride down and get supplies at the hardware store, but I don't know if I want to ride back here. And then the route goes up over that mountain over there, so that's a real challenging section. So I'm not sure I want to chance it with the rack one side broken. The other side might break. I've got one more strap. I don't want to be way up there and then have to, not sure what I would do with my stuff on the rack that's completely broken. This looks like a great spot to camp. It's still early, but I could camp here and then tomorrow just go down to South Lake Tahoe. This is an awesome spot. I might do that. In fact, I'm gonna bring my bike down here. Okay, let's do some thinking here. Maybe I should sleep here, wake up tomorrow early. This is so cool. Check out this spot up here on this cliff. Okay, I'm sure I'm not the only one that's done this. Well, so the current status here is we're sitting next to this rock in the shade and looking at options for tomorrow. I think I'm going to camp here tonight. This is just a really cool spot. The rocks, the view The sunset's gonna be really nice tonight, and the sunrise tomorrow will be nice. So yeah, I don't see any reason to rush out of here. So I was thinking, I'm doing some route options. I could just ride down tomorrow to South Lake Tahoe, get a couple P-clamps to fix the rack, and then keep riding over and reconnect onto the next route that I was planning to do, which is the Pony Express route from South Lake, and then just skip this part of the route here, which is a pretty good section of the ride. There's definitely a lot more hike-a-bike over here. We did it a couple years ago, and there's a lot of hike-a-bike. We did it at nighttime, so I didn't get to see everything, which I would like to do it during the daytime. So depending on how it works out tomorrow, the other option is I could just ride back up and restart the route here, ride around Star Lake, and then over to Myers and connect onto the Pony Express route. So there's options. We're just gonna play it by ear tomorrow, see how the rack fix goes. But this is what I was doing this ride for. I haven't done a bike packing trip on this bike, and this was kind of a makeshift way to mount the rack. And in hindsight, I should have thought about it a little bit more. These P-clamps are really thin metal, and there's just so much bouncing and jarring around out here. The trails are really rocky. So I should have foreseen this happening, but this bike doesn't have braze-ons or rack mounts on it. So it's not an ideal bike packing bike to begin with, but I wanted to try it and see what I've learned. Some things I've learned about it so far is the front handlebar roll is a little bit too heavy. I think I would back off on how much stuff I would put in it next time. I've got a sleeping bag, a heavy sleeping bag. I've got the sleeping pad and the whole tent and the tent poles in there. And all that weight just really affects the handling on the front in a negative way. It helps to smooth out the trail a little bit because all the mass on the front shock helps to dampen a lot of the rough stuff, which is great. But steering it is a lot more work, and maneuvering the bike around all the rocks and stuff, it's hard to get the bike to react. It just seems it just wants to go straight. And a few times I've gone off the trail and I couldn't get it back, and then the front tire washed out. So I lost the front tire a few times. I got a little bit of a crash here. No big deal. The bars are crooked. I'll have to fix those right now too. That's something I gotta fix. But anyway, I'm rambling. So learning some stuff here on this ride has been good. I do like the suspension. It definitely helps. I like the mountain bike. I like the wider handlebars for these kind of trails. So this is definitely gonna I've definitely got my mind now thinking about different ways to build a custom bike packing bike. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, this is a really nice spot here.